Welcome to another edition of Don't Tell Me to Shut Up. It's been a long time since I've done this.
Um,
I get bored very easily. I
okay.
do. I get bored. So even to think about that I'm talking gets on my nerves. So in my head, I'm like, nobody else wants to hear me talk
I don't
either
know how
because
to help you.
no, you can't help me. You can't. And it's okay. But I decided to come today because number one, it's Women's Month. And we all love that. At least all the women do anyway, because we feel as though somebody somewhere is paying attention to us.
Yeah, I wonder who to me.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what that means. But
Mhm.
today, what really prompted me to have something to say is this whole situation that is swirling around Drea.
Yeah.
Now, I normally do not participate in these types of conversations as it relates to um I don't want to say people that I don't pay a lot of attention to cuz I'm sure she doesn't pay attention to me. She probably has no idea who I am, which is cool. But I get anxiety when I think about housewives and basketball wives
Mhm.
and all of that because I know, at least to me, they serve a purpose. And I'm not mad at the hustle. I'm not mad at the people who get what they can get from it. But a lot of the storylines give me heart palpitations. I can't. Women on women always fighting over men or women on women fighting over bullshit. It's a lot for me. But this struck me different. This whole situation with her and the fact that she is now pregnant with a 22-year-old basketball player. And if the math is correct, people are saying that since she's 7 months pregnant, she would have gotten pregnant when he was 21. I have a lot of thoughts about it, but the one that comes through crystal clear is leave that woman alone. You're not paying her bills. Why are you concerned with who she's dating? Why are you concerned at all? If he's not concerned, if his family's not concerned, mind your business. The other thing is people are making a big deal about the fact that he is so much younger than her. And how dare her have a kid with someone who's so much younger? And the fact that she has a child who is not a child, a young adult who is roughly around his age, a little older,
Mhm.
maybe a little younger. I don't know, but it's college age. I do know that. And so she should therefore know better. Why is it that when women date younger, there is so much vitriol and criticism about it from mostly men, but some women too. But men were the originators of that, if I'm not mistaken. Men have always married younger,
Right.
as old as time,
Right.
right? It was typically, and not always. I don't believe in painting every situation under one blanket, but men have always, throughout history, wanted, desired, and typically got a woman who was younger than they were, sometimes substantially younger, be it in Hollywood or be in the fucking country. They just have. There's always a high value placed on a younger, more vibrant, fertile woman than one who is older. There are jokes that talk about how as women get older, you better stop being so choosy because you old, nobody's gonna want you. Well, why would that be? Well, because they want younger. So why is it so difficult to understand that she's dating someone who is so much younger than her? I don't understand that. She got pregnant. I mean, it happens. Maybe she wanted another baby. I don't know. I understand her first baby, people were curious and questioning who the father was. And she made it very clear who the father was and that she got pregnant when she was 17. I can speak to that. I didn't plan to get pregnant early, but I did.
Right.
And you know what? The guy who got me pregnant super older than me. Where's the vitriol? Nobody's talking about that. Everybody in my neighborhood knew. People in my hometown knew. Where was the uproar? Perhaps because there was no such thing as social media.
Right.
I just that irritates me. And I get it. There are people who will say women can't do what a man does. Why not? There are men who will say, why would a woman want to do what a man does?
Right.
Why wouldn't she? If
Right.
she so chose, right?
Right.
We're all human beings. Gender does not determine whether or not we feel a particular way or act a particular way. We act how we act because of our personalities, because of how we're made up, our chemical makeup in our brains.
Right.
Has nothing to do with whether you're a male or female. So, if you want to talk about the fact that she has these children by different daddies, do we need to start going down the list of men who have multiple babies by multiple women,
Right.
starting with the professional sports? We don't want to do that. You know why? The list for women pales in comparison. There are a number of men out there right now in Hollywood who were just in the news not that long ago, who have multiple children by multiple women.
Right.
So I just don't understand why we can't get to a place of mind your business. That's my big thing. Mind your business. He's old enough to vote. He's old enough to drink. He's old enough to drive. He's old enough to serve in the military. He's old enough to buy a gun. He's damn sure old enough to have a kid and make
Right.
decisions. Now, I get it. You could say she's far more experienced because she's older. She's, worldly in a respectful sense, but she's been in and out of relationships and he's just starting.
Yeah.
He knows enough to tattoo her name on him.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
So, uh, why is it my business? I don't know this dude. I ain't never met him. I don't know. If he's concerned or his family's concerned, then I might be concerned. But even my concern then would not reach his family.
Right.
And so, do you think that all of social media's ire and concern is going to reach the family or reach him and he's going to say, "Oh, social media is outraged. Let me leave her alone."
Right.
Probably not.
I mean, I personally don't care just because it's not my relationship. I mean, if he was younger than 18, yes, I'll
If
have
it
a
were
problem with it.
illegal, if it were
Yeah, but
illegal, okay?
I'll have an extreme problem with it. I mean, I do sometimes even question the man's position in anything, but that's just more personal because I feel
What do you mean the man's position?
like when men they younger, I do question it, but that's just more personal because I know myself. I'm getting older, and I know that to men, like you always said before, it's like they get more distinguished, and then they go after the younger person, and we kind of get left behind. So that's a little bit more personal, but I don't care. It is what it is. If they're happy and I mean, I could say, well, maybe from a mother's perspective, you will say you have a problem with it, but I'm not his mom, so I don't care.
I mean, I think you have a point when you talk about um as women age, we become in society's
Mhm.
minds, certainly not mine, old hags,
Right.
has-beens. Oh, she used to be that. Oh, wow, she was. And I think men, per society standards, become more distinguished, more classy. Oh,
Yeah.
look at the classy gray. But if I let my gray grow, whoo, this bitch done got old on us.
Yeah.
So I do think that there is, and there are liberties given to men that are not given to women.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfair that you love who you love, okay? So if you fall in love with somebody who happens, now again, we're not talking about illegal.
Okay.
We're not talking about complete underage, okay? That's something totally different. But I think just like for men, historically, they go for younger,
Mm.
more fertile, and what they consider more attractive. And that tends to be younger because
Yeah.
they want to have kids. And back in the day, They wanted to have a lot of kids. Hence, if you go back and trace your family tree, your grandmama, well, I can't say grandmama nowadays because grandmamas could be
Yeah,
29,
I mean,
but your great grandmother, just traditionally, they had 7, 9, 12, 15 kids.
right.
You could only do that if you married someone younger.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That has since changed in terms of what is acceptable.
Right.
My grandmother got married when she was 14 years old. You can't do that shit today. Don't do it. So, but times have changed. But I still think that there is a common thought for men. I know I'm 40 years old, but I want to have kids. And if I want to have kids, I can't marry a 40-year-old. Or you could, but the odds of having 3 or 4 kids slim to none. So
Right.
you tend to go younger.
Right.
So even though 40 is not old to someone who as a man who might be 40 and a little older, to him it might be because he wants to have more children.
Right.
And you can't do that. You could only give him 1 or 2 more kids safely, right?
Right.
Because studies show the older we get, we lose more eggs, we lose the ability to have kids unless you get into IVF. And we don't want to talk about that considering the current
Yeah,
climate
well,
or
you
donor
may
eggs
die
and
in the
whatnot.
process.
But for the most part, it's true and it's unfortunate. And I think a lot of things have changed. I think women's roles in society and the workplace, all of those have changed. The opportunities that we have to climb the ladder of success in business in a professional sense has changed
Yeah.
dramatically. And so I think women are deciding there's no need for me to get married when I'm 15 like my granny did.
Right.
I don't have to get married then. And I've got a whole life in front of me that I can live before I decide I want to get married, I want to settle down, I want to have kids. But by the time that happens for you, you're older. I
Yeah.
get it. Dre is what, 39?
Yeah.
She just turned 39 in January, right?
Yeah.
Maybe she wanted to have more kids. Maybe she thought this guy is the one. I don't know. I don't know their relationship. I
Right.
get it. He's 21. I don't know if it's going to work out or not. But if you hang a lantern on the fact that he's 21 and she's 39 and you think that might be the reason that they break up, I know people who've gotten married older and they still broke up.
Right.
So, and then I guess people are questioning, you know, was she a cougar and went after this young dude? I don't know how they met. I don't know if he chased her or if she chased him. There are a lot of people who are making assumptions because she tends to date ball players. I know her first dude that she was with that had the baby, she had a baby with, wasn't a ball player. So you can't say that she only goes for ball players.
Right.
I don't think he was a ball player. Maybe he was. I don't think he was. I don't know. Goes to show you how much I follow these stories. But this hit me different because there's so much conversation about it on social media. And I do not like the double standard that men get to make all the rules and
Yeah.
they get to change them as they see fit when they no longer are convenient for their narrative. I don't like it.
Yeah. I think from what I've seen is that they're kind of saying the men are saying, well, it's so funny, like whenever we date younger, especially so close to the teens, they start questioning, oh well, they started dating when they were 16 and everybody gets outraged about it and they feel like there's no outrage um for her. Like
But that's
for
not
what she's
true. And
doing.
first and foremost, going back to what I initially said, men have always dated younger
Yeah.
for the most part. Going all the way, go back to the Bible days if you don't believe me. Trust Jesus. I'm just saying, they've always done it. They've always done it. So I think women have thought because we live in a patriarchal society
Right.
that this is the way that it goes.
Yeah.
We've known that forever. It's in every movie, it's in every commercial, it's in every magazine that the older guy goes for a younger woman.
Right. And I
Always.
think also I think what's happening also is that it it may be a economical thing because I feel like whenever a dude is younger and is older, it's kind of like, it's kind of like a sugar baby type of situation. But now
Wait, when a
because
dude is older, what
when
now?
a dude is younger and they date older, it's kind of like also what we say about women who date like, like really older men. It's kind of like a sugar baby situation. But in this sense, he's still the one with the most money.
Well, he
So
can't be a sugar baby if he's broke. So it's typically the woman who is older who has
yeah,
money
that's what I'm trying
that
to
is a
say.
sugar mama.
Right, right. That's what I'm so
Yeah.
the guy's usually the sugar baby.
No, he ain't got no sugar. That's why he younger. So he providing the sex and the D.
Right? I thought it was called sugar baby. I well,
Yeah.
I
The
I'm trying
sugar is the
I
one who's
think we're both
giving.
saying the same. Yeah, I
Like a woman who's looking for a sugar
right,
daddy, she looking for somebody to take care of.
right.
A sugar mama is looking for a young thing that she can provide for. Sugar baby something you eat. I mean, that could be another dude too, but that's not what we're
But
talking
okay,
about.
so I think we're both saying the same thing. So I think in this case, it's almost like they're still trying to say that she's after his money because he's even though he's young. I mean, I don't know what her pockets are like. I don't know what his pockets are like, but because he's a ball player, everybody's saying that it's almost like she's still
Well,
being the gold
everyone,
digger.
to be clear, isn't saying that.
Well,
There are some people who are saying that, but
yeah.
I think that goes back to, and I've made this comparison a thousand ways, and that is if you grew up eating steak at Longhorn and then you got the opportunity to have a steak from Mastro's,
Oh yeah.
how do you go back to Longhorn? You don't. So if she is accustomed to dating a dude in a certain economic bracket, maybe she doesn't want to go back to what she used to.
Right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. I'm not mad at her. My thing is very much in the same way as you have women and men who say, I only date a certain type. I don't like dark skinned chicks, dark skinned dudes. I don't like light skinned chicks or light skinned dudes. I don't like short dudes, short women, short men, fat. Everybody has a type.
Right.
So if you say, I used to date dudes who were broke. Now I would like to date a dude who got a little money because that's what I've been dating. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, and I think this goes no matter what your economic standing. I think you always hate on what you feel like you can't get.
Yeah. That's right. That's
Drea
true.
is a beautiful girl.
She bad now.
And maybe it could be people who couldn't get her.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe people who feel like they don't have a chance with her. I don't know that, so I'm not accusing. I'm just saying I feel like you always hate on what you feel you don't have a shot with. So you throw things, you throw the slings and arrows at them because you feel like I would never have a chance anyway because I'm broke and he would never look at a chick like me, or
Right.
I'll never be in the same room as him
Right.
with his broke down ass. Like I think all of those things are true. Just like I think when you are a beautiful woman, people can't wait to find a reason to hate you.
yeah.
Especially if you're a dude. She thinks she all that and blah, 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 blah. Do you feel that way because you might not have a chance with her? She might be a wonderful and a very nice person, but you're accusing her of being something because of her outward appearance.
Yeah.
The same thing can be said about a guy. You could hate on a dude who's super handsome and say, oh, he's so stuck up. Do you know him? Or are you just saying that because you feel as though you may not ever have a chance with him? And I think a lot of the stuff that she is going through is because she's a beautiful woman. Um, she makes her own rules. She's
Yeah.
marching by her own beat, and I think it's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, men and women. Not just men, to be clear.
Yeah.
There are men who get mad when women walk to their own beat and it's not the beat of the drum that they're pounding. There are men who get mad about that. There are women who are the same way who say, "Well, why can't I do that?
Right.
Why can't I walk around with a skimpy top and booty shorts?" Well, baby, because you can't. Or you can. It's all in your confidence. But don't get mad at somebody else because they can wear something that you can't,
yeah.
or potentially do something like date a 22-year-old or 20, and you can't.
Yeah.
That's her business. Leave that girl alone. That is so irritating to me. I'm so sick of it. If we lived in a society, which by the way, I know is a utopian society, meaning it does not exist, it is the epitome of perfection, which we will never obtain. The best thing that you could do with the time that you have on this earth is to mind your fucking business. If that person is not paying your bills, if they are not making a difference that you can tangibly feel or touch, which is what tangible is, why do you give a shit what they're doing? I've never understood that.
Yeah.
There are people out here doing all kinds of things. Now, the moment it affects me and mine, now I have something to say about it. But there's so many people concerned about other people's business and your own house is raggedy. I don't understand that.
I think that's just social media. I
It
just feel
is.
like everybody feels like they have an opinion
And
on
everybody
your
does
life.
have an opinion. I do people I listen, I have an opinion. I'm speaking on my opinion.
Yeah.
I get it. It's fine. But don't have so much of an opinion that you have basically imprisoned this chick in what you feel is she calling her names and, kind of, I don't know, putting her down and
Yeah.
saying she's all. Who are you to do that?
Yeah.
I just I don't get it. But again, I understand the judgment. I started out by saying, I am not one for the housewives and basketball wives and hip hop stars or whatever it is. I do not put those people down who participate in those shows or who watch them. It's your life, it's your time. Live it out to the best
Yeah.
of your ability. It's not for me, not even for entertainment purposes, because the idea of how it was introduced to me with people jumping across tables barefoot and slinging bottles, I felt as though it is already hard enough for Black people in general, certainly Black women
Mhm.
out here. I I do not want to continue to perpetuate the stereotype of that is how we handle things. And so when I watch it, it causes anxiety in me because I'm like, oh my
Right.
God, I can't believe they're doing this. Or why are they arguing over silly things or over a dude? Or I can't handle that. But I
Yeah.
would never say, you're an idiot for watching. I would never say that.
Right.
I would never say, you're an idiot for going on that show. Baby, if that's the way you pay your bills and people think that there is value in that from you, get that money. Do what you want to. I'm just not going to participate in it.
Do your thing.
Say that just one more time,
Mm-mm.
please.
I said, do your thing.
That ain't how you said it.
Okay, so I don't know how to replicate
Do your thing.
it.
That sounded so funny. Anyway, that's my take on this whole Drea thing. I think she is, and I don't know her, so I can't co-sign for her because I don't know her like that. I don't know what her motives are and the moves that she makes. It's also none of my business. I mean, is anybody checking in with you to find out what you're doing day to day
No,
and judging what you do in terms of your decisions and who you date and who you don't date
nobody
besides me?
cares.
Huh?
Nobody
But
cares.
if they did, would you alter your way of
No,
being
not at
because
all.
other people think a particular way?
No.
She's happy as far as I can tell. And I think that post that she did about feeling the weight of, I think that had nothing to do with her being tired of pregnancy and everything about the weight of what is being said about her.
Yeah.
Because every time I see her name come up in social media or in trending news, because that's what I follow quite a bit, because I have to for my job, I always see negative things about her. But kudos to the women who stood up for her. I appreciate that. That I like. I like sisterhood. I like when we are able to step outside of ourselves and say, you know what? I may or may not agree with her, but let that woman live. And by the way, I would say the same thing about a man. I said the same thing about Nick Cannon. He got a lot of kids by a lot of different women. If he can afford to take care of those kids, because he's not getting a check from me to buy Pampers or milk, then what am I supposed to say? I get to relegate where his sperm goes? I don't. I get it. You could say, well, what about the community? We got a lot of other things to worry about when it comes to the community. A lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Dating is just so minor when it comes to the issues.
The grand scheme of things.
But I would like to say something. So I honestly think Dre is extremely smart because I do watch loving Basketball Wives, and one thing that she did, she was in and out. She saw what it was and she was out. She didn't she was and from there she used the opportunity to be able to create all the business. So I think she's a smart girl, to be honest with you. So
Even though, unfortunately, her name is always followed by basketball wife star.
yeah. But I think
So
also
it's
looks
kind of
have to
what,
do a lot with it too,
yeah,
unfortunately, because she looks the way she looks amazing.
she does look
I
amazing.
think people just say things that she's not smart, which is sad, but
Yeah.
I think she's
Which has
a smart
been
girl.
consistent with the thought. regarding women throughout history. And to be fair, they've thought the same thing about men back in the day. If you were handsome and you were like on the football team, they thought you were a dumb jock. They
Yeah.
thought you were just a handsome guy with talent, but you had no brains. No
Yeah.
brains and all brawn. And I think the same has been true for women. Women who are considered beautiful have always been thought to be airheads. And it's not always the case. And I'm hoping as time goes on, I think beautiful women have done a great job of showing that they're more than just their outward appearance, but that they are smart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all you can do. So do you, Drea. Congratulations on your pregnancy and the fact that it's a girl and you've always wanted a girl. I wish nothing but the best for you and whatever the universe holds for you in this relationship, whether it lasts or not. I think there are a number of things that can be the demise of a relationship outside of age, the pressures of social media, and just being young. I think he's very young at 22. He might fall in love 5 more times. I don't know. I know people who've fallen in love that early and still stayed married for 40 years.
Yeah.
So who are we to judge? Mm. That's all I got to say about that. Plus, my cup is empty.